Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled The Hesped, the Eulogy of Chaim Benyowitz. Zecher Tzadik Levracha. Lost a good man today. Battling with cancer this past year. Finally succumbed to the illness. Passed away in Yerushalayim. Was buried tonight in Beit Shemesh. I just want to talk a little bit about this wonderful man. Grew up in the era when many people came over from Europe and were leaving Judaism. And many of his relatives, that's what happened to them as well. And Reb Chaim took the opposite approach. He decided that he was going to have tremendous Mesiras Nefesh to learn more Torah and dedicate himself to Torah and mitzvot. And he went to yeshiva. It was miles away. There was no money for that. He had to tramp. He had to do whatever he can to get to yeshiva, but that's what he did. So early on in his life, demonstrated tremendous availut Torah, love of Torah, love of Hashem. It's fascinating that while he was growing Torah and learning, and he was working, earning a living, what we call a earner, someone who earns a living, but of course is dedicated to Torah as well. When the market was slow and he was in between jobs, he decided not to go ahead and complain about the lack of income. On the opposite, to go ahead and dedicate himself to writing a translation of the Ibn Ezra. Anyone who's familiar with the commentaries on the Torah knows that one of the hardest commentaries on the Torah is the Ibn Ezra. Rambam writes that when it comes to commentaries on the Torah, his go-to man, his commentary that he loves and embraces is the Ibn Ezra. So Reb Chaim said, this is going to be my work, to translate, analyze, and comment on the Ibn Ezra. And he put not days, weeks, months, years and years and years into this work. This was his magnum opus, his translation. It's an incredible 3-volume set on Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim. And it was a labor of love. And one sees and realizes what he's translating. You need to be a real expert, a Bible, Torah expert. You have so much grammar, you have history, have philosophy, halacha, insights, and he has to put it all together in the running translation and in the comments on the bottom. So it's an incredible work, signs of a tremendous Talmud Chacham. But what's amazing is when you tell people who knew Reb Chaim, you tell people about his commentary on the Chumash Ibn Ezra, they say, really? I didn't know he wrote that. Which shows his unbelievable avat Hashem, his love of Hashem. And what goes hand in hand with his love of Hashem, his avat Hashem, is his anivut, his humility. Because his love in life wasn't himself, his ego, his pride. It was Hashem and Hashem's world. So he was zoche, he merited to write this beautiful translation. But it wasn't in order to show off to people, to go ahead and say, wow, what a Talmud Chacham, what a scholar I am. It just wasn't where he was at. And therefore, people didn't even know. It wasn't like they go ahead and toot his own horn. He wrote this beautiful work, so wants to know about it, of course. He'll tell you about it. You could go and learn it and study it and grow from it. And that's why during the funeral tonight, Brill, son-in-law, said that he doesn't remember ever hearing a word of Lashon Hara from Reb Chaim Benyowitz. And it all goes hand in hand. A person who truly loves Hashem and loves Hashem's creatures and sees himself as just part of a very big picture. He doesn't have a need to go ahead and put other people down and somehow, oh, I'm better than that person, he's worse, he's this, he said, no. Another person is one of God's creations. And if you love God's world and you love his Torah and you love his creations, so you're not going to look to say anything bad about another one of God's creations. On the contrary, say a nice thing if you can. And this beautiful, humble attitude also was reflected in his last year as well, where when I saw him in the hospital or at home, he was in pain, he was suffering, never a word of complaint. Once again, when you send it on yourself, then it's going to be a very painful and bitter process. The illness that takes one's life. There's going to be complaints and charges against Hashem, and why are you doing this to me? But when you're seeing a bigger picture, and your love is towards Hashem and his creations and your family and your wife, children and grandchildren, Klal Yisrael, so you're going to see that somehow this fits in. And that's why Reb Chaim said early on to his family members, when it wasn't so clear this was necessarily going to end his life, maybe there's some hope, but it wasn't so clear where things were heading. He said, listen, I had a good life. Hashem gave me many good years. Wonderful wife, children, grandchildren, generations, Baruch Hashem. And what an amazing wife with the back and forth to the hospital and really reflecting the Chaim's greatness, accepting the din, no complaints, being an incredible Eshet Chayil by Reb Chaim's side till the end, till the very last moment. What a beautiful team. Two people with true avat Hashem, love of Hashem, incredible humility, the amazing ability to accept Hashem's psak, the lev shalem with a full heart. Mirz Hashem, the beautiful legacy of this family, of asmada, love of Torah, of mitzvot, of Hashem, and Klal Yisrael, humility, speaking only nicely about people, and accepting Hashem's din, tziduk hadin, and Mirz Hashem, this beautiful legacy is going to be carried on for generations to come. Shalom.